Hello food fans, going to have pizza today. Someone wanted me to review a cheese pizza. Red Baron makes a cheese pizza, and we're going to add a secret ingredient to this cheese pizza before we review it, before we cook it. And that secret ingredient, don't tell anybody, it's going to be more cheese. I'm going to add cheese to a cheese pizza. I know it's daring. No one's ever done anything like that before, but I shall do it, and I will put the pizza in the oven, and I guess probably the last 5 minutes or so I'll put some pizza cheese on the pizza so that it will be a cheesy pizza. And also in the meantime what I'm going to do is eat some coleslaw, so I'll get my cabbage for the day. But let's anticipate how good this cheese pizza is going to be, and we might even have a secret dessert. So let's get started. And it is indeed a cheese pizza. This is quite light in color, not overly burned like I usually fix my pizza. And let me see if I've got something I can hold this dish with. I'll do it with this right here. And we will slice through. I've got some pizza cutters, so you don't have to send pizza cutters. But I usually end up cutting the pizza with a knife, and Red Baron makes pretty good pizza, and usually what I get is cheese pizza as opposed to lots of toppings. And since someone wanted to have a review of a cheese pizza, a cheesy pizza, and this dish is warm, so be careful with the kids. Keep them away from anything hot out of the oven. And I did not cook this pizza on the pan that it's sitting in right now. I cooked it on a rack so the bottom of the pizza gets burned a little bit. It's going to be good. First time I had pizza, Calumet City, Indiana, in the 1940s, when I was probably under 10 years of age, and I instantly liked the taste of pizza, or as we called it then, we called it pizza pie. I think pizza means pie, so pizza pie means pie. And indeed, there are variations of pizza that all taste good. Put this right over here, and I will try this with my fingers and see if it's cooled down enough to eat it the Hollywood way. They have places in Hollywood where they cook pizza and chop it, and you get to just buy one slice, but I always like to buy an entire pizza and go after it. And this has got lots and lots of cheese, the added secret ingredient of cheese. Get that knife again. And it is cooling down. The pizza is cooling down, and the weather's cooling down too. We're getting days and nights that are more wintry. Let me take a taste of the pizza. Red Baron has a good crust. Not too thick, not too thin. Now I'll bite into the cheese. The cheese I added is mostly in the center of the pizza. Cheese is good. 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 This is a very good, highly recommended pizza. A Red Baron 4 cheese, I think it is, pizza, with me adding more cheese to it. 4 and more. Today I will talk a little bit about working with animals in movies and TV. Probably the scariest animal I worked with would have been on BJ and the Bear, the chimpanzee. The chimpanzee was getting to the age where it quits being a nice little pet and it starts making demands. I had no personal contact with that chimpanzee or any chimpanzee, but you can read stories. Just search for chimpanzee attack or chimpanzee Hollywood attack if you want to. A chimpanzee looks like it's about the same size as maybe a 10-year-old kid, but the chimpanzee can pull a small tree out of the ground. It's incredibly strong, and it can bite or just tear your arms and legs apart. I worked with BJ and the Bear on at least 2 occasions. And one time the trainer did mention how it would soon be time for a change in chimpanzees, get a new younger chimpanzee to do the acting. I worked on a movie called The Archer. The full title was Fugitive from the Empire, The Archer Strikes Back. And they had some animals on the show. And I've told the story before that I was the only person on the set, certainly the only extra on the set, who did not pet the bear that was on the set. Again, no person was hurt. The animals were well behaved. The bear seemed friendly from a distance, but I did not go up to make friends with it. They also had 2 falcons, which were very aggressive, and at the same time they were obedient to their owners. They had horses and dogs. They had a leopard. I worked also with a leopard on under the excuse me under the rainbow. I worked with a rooster, and on that same show that was Mr. Merlin. Worked that at TBS, which is the Burbank Studios. This pizza is good. And I do recommend getting lots of extra pizza, or lots of extra cheese on your pizza. This is good. It looks good too. let me get some root beer. So drink it from the can. Root beer goes good with pizza. Root beer goes good with just about anything. I worked with elephants and camels. It was on a show called, I think it was not Outer Space or Outer Limits, it was Outer City or something like that. On Dear John, we did 2 different episodes that had dogs featured doing part of the comedy. And the animals are very well trained. They can do actions either from a word command or a certain motion. If the trainer raises one hand or does something, the dog knows what to do and when to do it and where to do it. I worked with an elephant on a commercial once. I usually don't volunteer to work with animals, but commercials had good pay. And the action in the commercial was supposed to be animals breaking loose from a zoo. So the animals were all running, and different cameras on different animals. They had some humans dressed up in gorilla suits. I would never, ever have attempted anything like the people who were dressed in the gorilla suits on a set where there were elephants, and you had oxen, and you had at least one giraffe. All the animals were well behaved. I was running next to the elephant in the same direction as the elephant. On action, we're supposed to take off running. And also, on the other side of the elephant was the trainer. The trainer would run along with the elephant. Then when they would say cut, and they'd have to go back and do it again. So they say action, everybody takes off, running along. Have you ever run along beside an elephant? The elephant could so easily have reached out with its trunk and and slammed me to the ground. But the elephant was very well behaved, took commands very well. The owner would say something like stop, and the elephant would stop, turn around, walk back to the number 1 spot. think we were in Griffith Park when we did that. And the elephant at one point reached down with his trunk and grabbed hold of some flowers. The types of flowers that they have planted on corners of lots in areas that are right for a picnic or whatever. And the elephant grabbed hold of some flowers that were growing there and picked them up and pulled them out of the ground. And the owner said something like, "Don't do that." And the elephant put the flowers back, not in a position to grow, but just back where they were. Didn't try to eat them. Mr. Merlin, I worked, as I said before, with Rooster. There's a pig in the TV episode. There are actually two pigs. I think it's supposed to be one pig that suddenly gets big. There's a normal sized pig walking along, then they reshoot it so that they can put in the other pig. The small pig they started with was about 300 pounds. The pig they worked with was 600 pounds. And the back of its neck and head and all would have been about probably 4.5 feet off the ground. It was a huge animal, and they had to keep feeding it all day long to keep it from attacking something. Pizza is 1/4 gone. Red Baron is one of my favorite brands of pizza. Root beer time. Root beer time. The cheetah or leopard that I worked with was on Under the Rainbow in a mail car, M-A-I-L car, at the railroad. And I couldn't tell you what the scene was about, other than there's a cheetah or leopard, whatever it was in the caboose, and I was in the caboose. They were using me to stand in for Chevy Chase, and what the story point was I don't remember, but the leopard or cheetah was very energetic. This cheese pizza is very good. And then the Screen Extras Guild, which no longer exists, but in their book of rates of pay, I don't remember exactly how much it was. I think it was $15 a person would get if they would bring a dog or a cat, some sort of domestic pet. And when you call in, they would ask, do you have a friendly dog or a friendly cat or something? The animals that needed to be trained or that were aggressive or potentially dangerous were not animals that belonged to movie extras. But if they wanted to have a scene where somebody's walking a dog in a park and just not doing anything special, then the movie extras were asked to bring their own animals. I never had pets at the time I was doing movie extra work. I'll eat half of this pizza. Then I will bring out the secret dessert. Extra work was a great deal of fun for me. Paid well if you get into the union. Now the union that represents extras is SAG-AFTRA, SAG-AFTRA. It used to be very hard to get into Screen Actors Guild. It might be possible these days, I'm not sure what the rules are, you might be able to just pay the money up front, the initiation fee, and the first year's dues or half year, whatever it is. And if you're an aggressive person who sells yourself well, has an extensive wardrobe, you could probably do well as a movie extra. I think I'll have extra cheese on pizzas in the future. I like that. One more sip here. Root beer is delicious. Now it's time for the secret dessert. I've got some of it right here. One more. These are miniature candy bars packaged for Halloween. There are 4 different candy bars in this particular package. Was it 36 candy bars altogether? Little candy bars, little bitty. This is Snickers. This is a Twix. This is a Milky Way. And what is this? This is the Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers, Milky Way, Twix, and Snickers. When I was a kid, the only candy bars I remember were something called Queen Anne, I believe was the name of the candy bar, and then they had Hershey candy bars, and they had Baby Ruth candy bars, but they didn't have Milky Way or Three Musketeers. Let me start with the Three Musketeers. There's no way anyone will ever get that open unless they resort to, as Tony Perkins used to say, cutlery. This looks good. Little bitty chocolate candy bar. Three Musketeers. Do they have? They don't really have 3 parts, but it looks pretty good. It's gone. Fast disappearing act with Three Musketeers. Milky Way opens easily. Halloween is almost upon us. What's your costume going to be this year? But you're wearing that. Okay. Be careful where you go. Twix. Twix, Twix. I wonder if the little Twix tastes like the full-size version. I would guess they use the same formula. When they come up with a candy bar, they've got to come up with a name for it. It has to be a name that no one else is using for their food products. I would guess it's a big business process to bring out a new candy bar. This looks bigger than the others. Twix looks pretty good. And the last candy bar here is a Snickers. Wonder what I would have named it. I would have probably named it after a mountain. The Everest bar or something. Thank you for stopping by and visiting. And be careful going home wearing that costume. And I thank you for watching.